Okay, welcome everyone to day 2 of our 5-day mini reset. And yesterday we kicked off with day 1 and we discussed the importance of detoxing as well as the power of hydration to support this detoxing process. So if you can type in the chat or let us know how you did with upping that water intake yesterday, with cutting out any sugar from your diet, just type in the chat so we'll know how was day 1 for you overall. Yeah? Mm, nice. And then today we're going to shift focus a little bit more into eating. So nourishing our bodies with whole foods, because here's the magical thing about detoxing. There's nothing magical about it because when we nourish our bodies well with whole foods in their natural form, we get a lot of what we need for detoxing already. So nutrient dense foods and high fiber foods. Those are the two things we're going to focus on when we're choosing foods for this detox period and beyond. The goal of today's session is to help you understand how high fiber, nutrient dense foods can support detoxification. You'll also learn simple tips for adding more veggies and whole foods into your meals. Yeah, so are you all ready? Are you all ready for the eating part of this journey, which is going to be a solid 3 days of clean eating to support your body's detoxification system? If you're ready, raise a hand, type a, let me know how you're all feeling. Let me know if you're ready. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Okay, welcome to those now joining us. We're just about to jump right into the power of whole foods and using whole foods, nutrient-dense, high-fiber foods to support our detoxification process. Okay, so whole foods, what is the definition of whole foods? Whole foods are unprocessed, meaning they're in their most natural state. Nothing has been removed, and therefore usually nothing has been added. These foods are rich naturally in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, like polyphenols, which can jumpstart your metabolism and help to repair and cleanse your body during a detox. So we're thinking foods that are full of color. So of course your fruits, your veggies, the range of the rainbow colors. Yes, we can include seeds, nuts. But then the question always comes up, well, is whole wheat a whole food? Because it says whole, right? What whole wheat would actually look like in its original form would be like a grain, like a rice grain. And that is not available to us here in the Caribbean. You cannot go into a store and buy a whole grain of wheat because wheat does not grow here. You can't buy natural rice like we do grow rice locally. So a whole, local, we have the red hill rice, I think they call it. That is a whole food. But whole wheat in the form that we get it in, we would not consider that a whole food necessarily. Whole wheat flour is more whole than white flour, yes, but the whole wheat flour, again, that is available to us. If you look at the nutrition label, it hardly ever just says whole wheat, unrefined, unprocessed. It's usually still stuff added, and a lot of times it's a mix of white flour with a sprinkling of whole wheat flour to give it a little color. Yeah, especially the whole wheat breads. A lot of times they're brown because they use things to make it brown, not because it's so rich in whole wheat, right? So hopefully that gives you an idea of what we mean when we say whole foods. Yeah, any questions on that? Feel free to type it in the chat and we will address them at the end. So the one thing these whole foods tend to all have in common, at least the whole plant-based foods, is that they are naturally high in fiber. And let's touch on the role of fiber in detoxing. So fiber is like a broom to your digestive tract, right? We eat, things get digested, they go down our long, windy intestines, and to help things keep moving, we need fiber. So that type of fiber is generally known as insoluble fiber, the type that doesn't get digested or broken down. It literally is like a broom. But then we all know we also have soluble fiber, and the role of soluble fiber, it acts more like a mop or a sponge. It actually sucks up the chemicals or toxins that we're eating in, excess fat, excess cholesterol, can be absorbed by that soluble fiber so that it gets passed out instead of absorbed into the system. So if the more fiber we have, both soluble and insoluble, the less toxins actually get absorbed into your system. Yeah, because even when we're eating the healthiest foods, let's say the vegetables, for example, I know many people have expressed concerns about, well, how do I know these veggies don't have pesticides and stuff on them? Well, many of them do. Right? Especially in the grocery, you don't know because locally in the Caribbean, there's no regulation for organic labeling or, controlling the use of pesticides. So unless you're growing your own or you get it from a source like the farmers market, where they will tell you whether they use pesticides or not, or what pesticides you use if they ask, then at the end of the day, we are being exposed to different chemicals. And so fiber is one way that we can help the process in that it may not even get absorbed, it may just pass through. Yes, so hopefully that makes sense in terms of how essential fiber is in detoxing. It's kind of stopping the toxins at the door so they don't even enter the house. So without enough fiber, toxins can stay in your body longer than they should, right? And in terms of coming out, even if they get absorbed, the liver can detoxify many of the chemicals that we take in, but then it has to send it out. But if your bowel movements are not happening on a daily basis, then if it sits in your lower bowels, your large intestine, your colon for too long, then the toxins can get reabsorbed because it's just sitting there and your body's drawing the moisture out of that stool and those toxins can get reabsorbed. So we also want to ensure that we are having regular bowel movements so that it can pass out and not get reabsorbed. Yeah? So we're looking at total fiber intake, and we're also thinking about having daily bowel movements. Yeah? Especially during these 5 days. So again, if you have any questions about fiber, type it in the chat. We'll address all the questions at the end. So what I want to do now is let's go through an awareness step in terms of how you are doing, where your default mode is for fiber. So I want you to make a list of everything you ate within the last 24 hours. So think back to yesterday. So let's just do yesterday. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between. So everything you ate, you're just taking a minute to jot it down in your notebook. And then we're going to do a little assessment, self-assessment on our current eating habits. While you all are doing that, let me just check out the chat. Okay, I don't see any questions. Arlene, do you have a question? Or can we? All right. All right. So if you are finished with your food diary or almost done, I'll just start talking through what we're going to do with it. So we're basically going to look through and assess your fiber intake. So we're looking at the list of foods that are on there. First thing you're going to check, highlight, is any fruits that you ate. So fruits naturally have their own fiber. They generally have about anywhere between 1 to 3 grams of fiber for one serving of fruit, which is about half cup. So if you ate any fruit yesterday, you can just average that as 2 grams for one serving, which is about half cup. If you eat more than half cup, if you eat a whole cup or more, then you can maybe double it. So then we go veggies, highlight the veggies that you would have had. Those also would be an average of 2 to 3 grams per serving. A serving of cooked veggies would be half cup. Also, a serving of salad, like anything raw that doesn't boil down, would be 1 cup. So if you had 1 cup of salad, that would be about 3 grams of fiber. So again, you're just going through highlighting and making little notes on the side of where your fiber is in your day. Then we're looking for any whole grains or any beans or legumes. So if you had any beans, any whole grains would be brown rice, oats. Even if you had whole wheat bread, that would have some fiber. So we would count that in fiber. What else? In terms of whole grains and beans. Of course, provision. Provision would have also about 3 grams per half cup. So if you had a whole cup of provision, then that would be about 5 to 6 grams. So all plant-based foods in their natural form would have some kind of fiber in it. What does not have fiber? The processed foods, the white rice, the white flour, right? The animal-based foods. So even though we need the protein, animal-based protein does not have any fiber. Yeah. So that's basically it for the sources of fiber in your day. So let us know in the chat how you did yesterday in your food diary, what's an average of the total amount of fiber you got in the day. So, and let's see how we can improve that over the next 3 days. Thanks, Michelle, for sharing. All right, y'all are still working on that. Okay, I see 7 grams, someone says. So just for general health purposes, what is the total amount of fiber that is the goal? So for general health maintenance, the daily goal for fiber for women is 25 grams. We like to say for fat loss, so if there's any belly fat that you're trying to lose, if you have any issues of high cholesterol, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, the recommended for women for that would go up to 35 grams. So we do a higher fiber amount. For men, the baseline amount is 38 grams. And so then if they need to lose some fat as well, it would be more than 38 grams. And I often have a little feeling about why they say men need 38 and women need 25. That's a big difference. But historically, I think that comes from the heart health recommendations because men are more prone to heart disease. Initially, when they set the guidelines, they put their fiber levels higher than women. But now we know that women, especially after the age of 40 and definitely after menopause, have the same risk of heart disease as men. And so our fiber goal should be around the same as men, so in the 35 to 40 range, especially as a postmenopausal woman or if you have excess risk of heart disease. Yeah, so hopefully these tidbits of information are helpful to you. Hopefully you're learning something. You're maybe still calculating. It's coming in. I see 7 grams. I see 10 grams. So our goal over the course of the next 3 days is to see how we can increase those numbers to the range of 35 to 40 grams a day. Yeah, that's our goal, one of our missions over the course of the next 3 days. Now, of course, if you are increasing fiber, we do have to have that water intake on point, because if you eat too much fiber and not enough water, it can lead to slowing down the bowel movements, feeling constipated. So we want it to all come out. So the water, which is why we started with that yesterday, working together with the fiber, serves as a cleanser for our bowels, as well as sucking up any toxins that are coming into our system at the same time. Yeah. Now, if you want to be more precise in terms of tracking fiber, of course, you can use an app like MyFitnessPal, which may give you, take the work out of adding up your daily fiber. You just put fiber as one of the metrics that you're tracking, and that's another way that you can enter your food diary and see how much fiber you're getting in. Okay, so let's jump into the action steps for this today, because we meet again tomorrow and you'll have different action steps for that day. So for today, number 1 is we want to follow the detox menu that we would have shared. Hopefully everyone would have received that in your email, either yesterday or in this morning's email. There is a detox menu that is recommended. It lays out an entire day. And so we'll be following that for the next 4 days. Yeah? But on top of following it, we want to challenge you to kick it up a notch. Because on the plan, we make general recommendations of, veggies and fruits. But we want to challenge you to try something new. So oftentimes we get trapped in what I call the veggie rut. So you eat the same veggies over and over. You may love them, you may not love them, but they're just what you're accustomed to and what you're accustomed buying and what you know how to cook. So we want to challenge you to try a new veggie over the course of the next 4 days. All right, so on the screen now, we do have the daily menu. So if you can look through that, if you haven't already, now's your chance to ask any questions that you have about the menu. So I'll just review it briefly. So upon waking, you're starting your day with water, as we recommended yesterday, and you can add apple cider vinegar or your lime juice to your glass of warm water. In the morning period, we basically will be drinking. So you can choose either a smoothie or 16 ounces of vegetable juice. Now, if you are custom using a protein powder in your smoothie, feel free to do that. Um, we do recommend using a milk substitute like almond milk as the base of your smoothie to just give your body a break from the dairy to help with the detoxing process. Just based on the fact that dairy tends to increase mucus. So when we're detoxing, we want to decrease the mucus. So we do recommend switching from cow's based milk to plant-based milk just for this period. Yeah, during the morning period, you can also have teas of your choice. Green tea would be great, but any herbal tea can also work. It says 1 cup, but you can have more than 1 cup depending on how long your morning is, right? So if you're waking up at 5 a.m. and 12 o'clock seems a long way away, then feel free. Of course, you can have more tea along the way, still getting that water in. So we're using this morning period, focusing on hydration and nourishing your body with simple blended drinks, which will kind of give your digestive system a rest. It's also an opportunity to pack in a lot of fiber into those blended drinks. Now, because we want the fiber, we are recommended blended juices versus through a juicer. The juicer will extract the nutrients, but you would toss the fiber. So we are recommending that you use a blender instead of a juicer. Right, lunch, anytime between noon and 1 is recommended. There's a nice salad recipe that we would have shared, as well as, so you start with the salad and then you follow that up with your 1/2 cup of whole grain brown rice. Whole grain brown rice is not parboiled rice. It would actually say whole grain brown rice on the packet, and a 1/2 cup of beans. The red lentils are quick cooking, easily digestible, so that's why we choose red lentils. If you do have an issue with the red lentils or maybe can't find it, yes, you can use regular lentils in place of that. Yeah. Then again in the afternoon, more tea. If you can also have a piece of fruit sprinkled with ground flaxseed is what we recommend as a way to get those nuts and the healthy fats from the seeds in. Some people prefer to use chia seed or pumpkin seed. That's perfectly fine as well to have with your fruit. It also helps the sugar in the fruit to be absorbed more slowly by adding that additional fiber from the seeds. Then dinner, we want to encourage you to not have dinner too late as much as possible. So if you can have dinner by 6 o'clock, I would say 7 o'clock for the latest. You would be, again, having veggies. To balance out the raw veggies from lunch, we would recommend some cooked veggies, so lightly steamed or lightly pan tossed, seasoned. Feel free to use any and all fresh herbs that you would like. A little salt is fine, and a source of protein. So you'll be having protein once for the day. So hopefully that will help you feel satisfied in the night so you're not hungry before you go to bed. Yeah, after that dinner, you consume no additional foods, but you are free to drink your water, your herbal teas, and there's some recommendations for what to drink as well. Yeah. Now, if you find that even with all of that, you're not quite able to, take in the amount of veggies that we're recommending, you do have the option to do a fiber supplement at night or a herbal laxative. We put the laxative there because if you're not naturally having a bowel movement on your own, we do recommend that you do something to help yourself have a bowel movement. So a laxative, there are laxative teas available, and that's the preference versus, the actual pharmaceutical laxatives. So a tea that has like some sort of senna There's a common one we used to recommend called Smooth Move. So it's a mix of senna and other herbs that would help you have a bowel movement. If not in the night, then first thing in the morning. So that's the purpose of the herbal laxative, is that if you have not had a bowel movement for the day, you do want to do something to help yourself have a bowel movement. Sometimes it's just as simple as, you know, sitting on the toilet, doing some deep breathing and relaxing to give your body an opportunity to have that bowel movement before bed. Yeah. And then there's a note about chewing well, because, this may be less food than you're accustomed to eating. So you want to take your time, chew well, so that the food mixes with your saliva so that it can digest better and your body can extract as much nutrients as possible out of it. Yeah? So let's move into our taking action step. So our daily commitment. So again, we would have shared yesterday in our live that we will be giving out prizes at the end for those of you who stay engaged throughout this 5-day process. And so one of the ways that we're asking you to demonstrate your commitment to yourself and to this process is to share it on social media, which could be IG, Facebook. It could also just be your WhatsApp. Yeah, and tag us so that we can see that you shared. So tag Empower Nutrition so that we can, or hashtag reset and recharge, hashtag 5-day detox, so that we can, know that you have made that share that commitment. It also is a way to share with others. Now, someone asked me this morning, can people still join me on this journey? If you do have someone who's interested in starting today, definitely let them sign up and but contact us because they would not have gotten the past emails. So if you do have someone who wants to join you, when they see what you're sharing, just let them contact us. That'd be great. All right, the other affirmation that for today, each day we are doing one affirmation and we will send you these. So if you want to just post the affirmation, you can do that. If you want to post your own thing, like share a picture of one of your meals, that can also work well. Yeah, so affirmation for today that we're going to share would be, my body deserves foods that heal, cleanse, and energize me. So as we did yesterday, we're going to unmute and say out loud our affirmation for today. Once you agree with it, once you're ready to make that commitment. Are you guys ready? You can unmute and say it together, loud and proud. 1, 2, 3. My body
My
deserves
body
Those
foods that heal,
the food that
cleanse,
heals
and
and
energize me.
energize me.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So let's see if there are any questions before we wrap up. I see Michelle says, what's the name of the app? MyFitnessPal. If you want to enter your diary into there, you can also just use it as a resource, as in you curious about how much fiber a certain food may have, then you can just enter it in the app and it'll tell you. Yeah. Vanessa.
Hi, good morning, all. Morning,
Good
Mobile.
morning.
I just have a couple questions. One, I don't know if I missed it, but I did not get the actual, once I got the meal plan, the recipes for the salad, nor the smoothies or the green drink. Um, so I don't know if that was shared or you just make your own green drink. Um, that's one. Two, Melangen, in terms of that, will fall within your fiber for veggies.
Yeah.
Okay, and where does green fig fall in this?
Green fig, we count as a provision.
Okay.
And the one word of caution with melangen, though, is just that for it to taste nice, good Trini style, I realize that it's like a sponge, so it sucks up a lot of oil.
Mhm.
So when you're cooking it, you'll realize you do use quite a bit of oil. So just that with the melangen, you want to measure the oil to make sure you're not overdosing the oil when you're preparing the melangen. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay, great. So yeah, those
So
are
we
my
get back to the recipes. I'm not 100% sure if it was sent separately, um, or if it wasn't sent at all. So we'll send it via email um, after this. Yeah,
okay.
sorry about that.
Okay then. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. All right. So let's wrap up for today. So basically, um, today we talked about the importance of clean eating, whole foods, and fiber in detoxing, and how fiber supports your cleansing process. And one of your action steps today would be to try a new vegetable as you go through following your menu, your detox menu for today. Yeah. Tomorrow, we will focus on gut health and talk more about digestion and how to keep things moving and reduce bloating or any symptoms that come up with the detox. So just make a note of any symptoms that you may experience between yesterday and today, and we can address those tomorrow. And we've got some great tips to share as well. So hopefully you'll join us tomorrow. Tomorrow we will go back to 12:30 time. I may be about 5 minutes late, but that's okay. We will still log in for 12:30 tomorrow. All right, so don't forget to share your pics of your lovely detox veggies and detox meals. And I can't wait to see what you try out. Yeah. So with that, we will wrap up day 2. Let us know how you're doing. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us as well. And we will see you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Have a good
No
day.
problem. Thanks for joining.
Bye.